showing the road. Enough of you. Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents The Titan's Gift Season 2 Episode 20. I'm your DM and host Marty, joined by the full Seattle crew. How is everyone doing on this fine Tuesday evening? Is everyone socially distant? Your mics are socially distant. Look at how muted they are. Let's make them warm and cozy. There we go.
Delightful.
Who wants to start it off? How is everyone's week?
I found a game that I'm sure tons of people have told me about over and over, but it's called Mount and Blade. And I thought, I've heard people tell me about this game Mountain Blade. But no, it's called Mount and Blade. It's ridiculous, in kind of a good way. Medieval simulator kind of thing, armies and all sorts of combat, pretty deep. It's an impressive game, so I've been sucked into that.
I saw a little bit of this a while back on Twitch, and it does have an element of Dwarf Fortress, doesn't it?
I mean, a little bit. It's sort of an open world building and raiding kind of thing with a lot of sort of auto generated sort of content, which you save a farmer's daughter for the 18th time, and you start to think that maybe there's a conspiracy going on.
right. It's the cult of fathers who don't treat their daughters well, or something.
Yeah. maybe that's on you. But
funny. That's awesome. So that's your game. Cool.
Yeah. So I've been doing some of that. A little bit of cooking.
Nice.
On call at work for the first time. It's not too bad.
Gene, what's going on with you, man?
You know how a few months ago, I guess, I told you about the FPS that I've been playing with my friends from Russia, which is like quintessentially Russian. In that,
is it like the Russian version of Counter-Strike or something like that?
It's close, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It removes
joking.
all the, unnecessary details like good gameplay and years of balance done by experts. It removes it with the ability of playing only with Russian school kids. And it's magnificent. It's called Caliber. It's made by the same company that makes World of Tanks. So that's a game that I've been playing with this crowd for a few months now. And recently we decided to try DayZ, which coincidentally is exactly the same thing. It is filled only with Russians. It takes place in basically Russia. And it gives you the opportunity to listen to little kids screaming obscenities at you. And shoot them.
There's this weird look of pleasure on your face that I'm not going to dive too deeply into. We're just going to back away slowly.
Well, and besides that, I've been playing Pillars of Eternity.
Okay.
Which is a really...
I have not played Pillars yet.
Pillars is good.
Is it?
I saw you playing DayZ the other day. I was surprised. I've never got into that, but people are still playing.
That wasn't me.
What's that? No, I saw.
Okay. Yeah.
I saw Gene playing Pillars, or not Pillars, DayZ.
Neil, what's going on with you?
Oh, it was my daughter's birthday yesterday, so her one friend came over, and they had, because of social distancing, they both had these it's like a dinosaur costume and a shark costume where you get into it, and there's like a little fan that you attach to it, and the costume blows up. And it almost looked like a little. It was hilarious. They were running up and down the road, this giant shark and this giant dinosaur with the head going this way, wobbling as you're running. It was hilarious. It was a lot of fun. We ate too much. I had a lot of cake. My wife baked the cake, and there was just a lot going on. It was great. You guys are talking about games because of social distancing and this whole stay-at-home thing. Our team at work, we play games twice a week, and I'm horrible at first-person shooters because I get motion sick, so I don't get to play these games at all. But because the team plays it every time before we drink it, I drink a little magic capsule that prevents motion sickness, and I can play with them. Which over time has allowed me to suck slightly less. I will not say the word good because I'm not good at it at all. And we were playing Counter-Strike on Friday, and for some reason I got this thing called a golden knife, and I stabbed somebody with it, and turned out that I won. And I was like, what? First time ever something like that happened to me in an FPS game, which was interesting. Let's just say that.
Nice.
But it's fun. What about you, Marty?
Luke, we'll go to Luke first, and then I'll go to me. Luke, you missed a good game last game.
Oh my god, I just finished watching the replay. That was wild. I think I got it all down. The Pan Silver's lurking in the shadows up there where the knowledge is buried deepest. The Necronomicon's up there. It seems like Benjamin and Henry, the two brothers, were studying. Benjamin seems to be the smarter one. There seems to be a lot of jealousy there. And it seems he used him in a Necronomicon ritual there, and maybe is responsible for his disappearance, his death, all of that. I don't know. It was wild. I just got done watching that just before game started, and that was one hell of a game. But what have I been doing lately? A little City Skylines, and Saris and I have been binging real hard on Outward together. We play in split screen. That game is just absolutely wonderful. I feel like kind of old school RPG feel. It's real good. So yeah, trying to stay sane.
That's cool.
That's it.
How do you like cities?
It's awesome, but I'm not too good at it yet. I've had to restart. I only get like 3 town layers deep before I'm like, I screwed up the management on this. I need to try again, knowing what I know now.
Dare I ask, how does it compare to SimCity?
It's different. It's been so long since I've played any SimCities that I don't even know anymore. Like I played.
Well, Maxis no longer exists, so there's that.
Oh, I played some SimCity back in the day. I wanted to like really get into Conan Exiles, and I played it for a while on my own. Like I put in like, I don't know, 20 hours, 30 hours. But then we've been playing so much game lately, like between the Ontario crew and this crew. Like I'm averaging 3.5 games a week kind of thing over COVID. So that's been eating up a lot of my time. Like we're already at game 12 of the campaign we started a few weeks ago with the Autobots. So,
that's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. We've been doing a lot of gaming. When we share the stick too, it's kind of like you can concentrate on being a player for a third of the time and then the DM the other third of the time. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, but I will get back to Conan Exiles at some point.
Nice. Getting the old D&D itch scratch. You don't need to seek it elsewhere.
I don't need to seek it elsewhere. I don't need to seek it out in like RP servers or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, I do lots of role-playing games.
Yeah.
Too much time goes by and I may just drop it altogether, but oh well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, archers suck in that game, and I really wanted to play like you know Conan's buddy, the thief archer, Subutai from the first Conan? I wanted to play a character like that. And archery just blows in that game. It's so underpowered. It's so underpowered.
You just gotta walk up and smash dudes, Marty.
Oh, no. Marty, when he does very rarely play the first-person shooters, he likes to play the sniper, not the guy who runs in around corners with a shotgun. Anyways.
Well, it doesn't really matter which first-person shooter you put me behind. I'm shockingly bad.
I hear you stab somebody with a golden knife. I don't even know if that's...
Yeah, I know. Apparently, you get really, really lucky if you do it enough times. Like I said, I'm not using the words G-O-O-D. That's not in there. This was just lucky. It was one of those free-for-all things where you kept on respawning. Man, if I wasn't able to respawn, I would have been a spectator the entire game because I died like, sometimes I die 8 seconds into the game. Like,
I feel you, man. I don't play a lot of shooters. If I was to play again, I would die.
It's fun.
All right, Marty.
Yeah, let's do a recap. Last game was called The Devil Wears Macronom. Pharisee, the professor, Zephyrus, San, and Macronom entered the Dream Realm. San dreams of the Bear Cave in the Beastlands, where he found Balamut. Pharisee dreams of her past in Garden. Zephyrus dreams of Heshmala and a dark cloud on the horizon. The professor is trapped in a wicked nightmare, which tries to snare the party with his overwhelming presence. Macronom dreams of a strange playhouse where the furniture are all mimics. San leads the party back to the cave, where they face a nightmarish cat-like beast. Papa Vladimir visits the party afterwards and teaches the party about the strange dreamscapes and its dangers. I think you guys awaken after a strange slumber in the halls of somnolence. I'm getting feedback from somebody. I don't know if there's a TV or something on in the background.
That's me. I think I'll keep muted.
Good.
My wife's got headphones on in the other room, so.
Yeah, it went away.
Yeah. All right. Let us go to the halls of somnolence, and everyone does wake up, and you guys are on the pillow divans and comfortable half beds and couches in the halls of somnolence. There are the signs of the feast of the previous evening. As all of you are rousing from slumber, it is very early in the morning, as you may have gone to bed early after imbibing the dream lotuses. It looks like a lot of people have gone to their own quarters, leaving you kind of in the main area by yourselves. You do see Bukerbeck napping on a couch. He did not take the dream lotus, and it looks like he's got his like a heavy mace in his hands, like he had fallen asleep, keeping watch over all of you. Oh, I feel kind of sleepy and tingly, says Macronom. But
are you going to transport us there, Marty, on the maps?
I can. Halls of somnolence.
And as we wake up, do we feel well rested? Or
you feel kind of like you do feel the effects of, it's like a relaxing hangover. Like you could easily go back to sleep, but you definitely snapped awake. Zephyros, the pains that you suffered in your dream are not there. In fact, the spells that you cast that evening are still in your repertoire.
Interesting.
I'll give the spellcasters a moment to replenish. You can remember everything that happened in your dreams. Of course, the professor remembers spending most of the time in that strange room, which is an amalgam of places of importance from his past, all the way from childhood to when he was a professor at the Matabasta University. Makron, you do remember your companions visiting you, but you don't remember much else. You do know that Zephyros stared into the green light with you. Balamut, almost as if sensing San is awake, comes bounding down the stairs. He might have slept upstairs or might have been roaming around. He's kind of eating at some of the half-finished plates of food. Yeah, San, Pharisee, Macronom, Zephyrus, you guys remember visiting each other's dreams, plus you remember facing the weird cat monstrosity in your minds. It's as if you shared San's fear when he was wandering in the Beastlands alone. Professor, you notice that everyone's kind of like glancing at you and not saying anything?
Oh, well, I think it's time for tea for me. A bit early, but I don't sleep much anymore.
Oh.
I suppose.
Are you okay, Professor?
No. Do I look a bit yellow, ill, pale?
Do you really want us to answer that question or offer you alcohol at this point?
I don't know. It may be a bit early for me. Then again,
The thing about your dreams is that you're now convinced you've had pieces of these dreams before, but never with such clarity did you remember them in the morning. And then, of course, you've never visited each other's dreams and, you know, had communal dreaming experiences. This is definitely a new sensation for most of you.
Sean has.
Yeah, I know. San has. I'm talking. You're the exception to the rule. What I'm saying.
the professor doesn't remember much, though. What he remembers could be just a regular dream. I just saw Zephyros in a dream, and he looked into the orb. That's about all I remember.
You are remembering your dream with clarity that outstrips all other dreams you've ever had.
Do I remember when the party like stumbled upon the knowledge that I had like done something to my older brother?
Yep.
As soon as
And it was your younger brother.
Younger brother. Okay. I guess the professor just stops. Whatever he was doing, whatever he was saying, stops. His eyes sort of glaze over as he remembers it. And the hand feels this through the professor, I think. And I think the hand knows this feeling and doesn't see the professor reacting and is going to attempt to take out the wand to erase his memory and attempts to do it to try and bring the professor back from the brink.
Okay.
And I would try and I'm wondering what happened. Will I forget remembering this dream? Try and bury it back down there. I don't know if the professor can confront this.
Well, first it's I use magic device from the crawling claw to cast the spell from the wand.
Yeah.
Do we see this happening?
The crawling claw tends to stay invisible, but
Probably would be visible.
He would be visible? Okay, yeah, you do see the professor. He was about to get some tea, and then his hand shook, and now he's just sort of staring at a mess that he's made with a pot of tea and a teacup. And you notice the crawling claw go over and pull out a wand, and the crawling claw is trying to use it, and the wand fizzles.
18?
Yep. No. DC for casting a wand is 20.
It'll try again. 20.
Okay, and the spell is called what?
The spell is called, and I don't think it's going to work because I think it fizzling means that it's not going to work because it only works on the last round. It is memory lapse. So I think the professor's still going to remember, but he'll have forgot the first attempt by the hand, which doesn't matter too much.
The beginning of last turn. Yep. So you forget that you spilled your tea.
Yeah, but I still remember the dream. And the wand is going to keep trying to do it because it's not working and it's supposed to work. He's not supposed to be like this.
Zephyros walks over and just asks the professor, looking a bit deep into the leaf, are you?
What? I'll say turning to him, but I'm like, the professor is like unreachable. This is something that, this is like a core thing of his person. He's buried away. I don't know if he's going to really be able to react much.
Okay, so how does he react?
He's not saying anything. His eyes are just glazed. He just stares at the teacup.
You know we were there, right?
He's unresponsive. His mind is racing. through that day over and over, trying to forget again.
Zephyrus just turns around, walks away, and as he walks, he looks at Pharisee and he just says, "Fun."
This whole time, Matt, you're muted. This whole time, because Son was literally just initiated into the clergy.
Yep.
So that is like way more shocking to him than just waking up after a lucid dream. So I don't know that Son would even necessarily be like paying attention to this.
Maybe not.
I think what like Son's reaction would be, because he woke up, this like his first conscious minutes of being a priest and being accepted by his God. So I think what he would do is just kind of roll off the bed, slam into the floor because he forgets that he's not on like the grass like he normally would be. And just kind of sit there and looking at the symbol of Iambulus, and just kind of thinking what it means for him.
Yeah, when you awake this morning, you feel this dangling connection to the dream realm. It's not quite like you're dreaming, but you know that if you spend... this must be what priests do when they pray in the morning. You can spend an hour in prayer and gain spells, is what I'm trying to describe.
Right. Yeah, I think that would be kind of what's going on with Son, as far as the mechanics. As far as the quote-unquote flavor, it would also involve just coming to terms with the fact that he now has a god that he follows, which he did before, but now it's more...
Now you've been taught how to pull upon the dream realm in the waking world to make things happen. I noticed in your prepared spells, you prepared all cure spells. You don't need to do that, because you can, as a cleric who channels positive energy, spontaneously cast cure spells. You prepare a different type of spell, and then
I thought it was only through the channel.
Nope.
Okay, gotcha.
You also have spontaneous casting of cure spells. So
gotcha. Okay.
And I'm still going through your non-standard spells, so just stay away from them for now.
Well, I'm looking at level 4. But...
Matt, you were trying to say before?
Oh, wow. Oh, nothing. Professor, you having trouble forgetting?
Can't remember.
A nightmare isn't always 100% true, is it?
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
The professor's eyes are vacant. It's like nobody's home.
Oh, it's too bad you didn't come to visit Makronam in his dreams. Everyone else had fun.
That we did, Makronam. Your place was kind of interesting.
You know, I could ask one of my dream buddies to keep something for you.
Keep something.
Or eat something for you.
Or eat something, yeah.
Is Makronam there? But the professor, I think he would turn to him and like absent-mindedly like stretch out his hand.
Okay.
For eating.
What did you say?
For eating. For keeping memory.
Oh, did he just offer his hand to me for eating?
Son turns to Malcolm and nods and goes back into prayer.
Oh.
I don't think you want the hand, though. I think he's offering,
The crawling claw goes over to Makronam and flicks Makronam.
whatever's most interesting in your head, in his head.
Oh.
Whatever's tastiest in his head.
Oh, I don't know if I can do that right now, because I think if I try to take his memories now, he's going to miss the parts that I need to move.
So is this a we do it when we're dreaming kind of thing, Makronam?
Oh, yeah. But I've never had a dream like that before. I think it was the flower thing that we ate for eating.
Did you like the flower thing?
Oh, it made one of my bellies feel like there were butterflies inside. Yeah.
I think you did that to all of us except to the professor.
Oh, that's okay.
3 out of 4, not the win.
Makronam, there's a gooey pseudopod that kind of pats the professor's hand, leaving behind this weird slime.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're all as confused about it as he is, but who are we to say what's true and what's not by looking at his dreams? Who knows? He's wiped his memory so many times, for all we know, none of it is true. Or all of it.
It was scary in there, and Papa Vladimir said it was scary too.
Does Sephiroth remember the sort of I don't want to say oath. I forget what the word is that you used here.
Compulsion.
The compulsion. Does he remember the compulsion specifically, or
you remember looking into the green light? You don't remember exactly what you saw, but you do know that there is knowledge in that madness, and as much as you have restraint, there is something really tantalizing about that pursuit.
Yeah.
You remember the professor beckoning you. You also remember the professor telling you to worship him as a god, and you remember pushing those thoughts off to the side.
Yeah, Sephiroth is not going to admit to any of that at this point because that's a little bit out of his character, non-dreaming.
Yep.
So he's just going to let that slide and hope nobody saw him.
Oh, so what now?
Makronam's now pointing at some fruit and asking San if it's for eating.
Has it been about an hour since they woke up, or is San still needing to concentrate?
You could probably answer a question, but you'd go back to prayer.
Right. San kind of opens half an eye, looks at Makronam, hands him the fruit, and says, "This is for eating," and then go and eat more. In about an hour, we'll meet again.
Okay, he downs the pear.
Son breaks off a piece and kind of chews on one absentmindedly, as he,
Okay, the crawling claw puts the wand away. You can subtract maybe 3 charges total, and is circling around the professor and is tapping and poking him.
The press is still pretty comatose. He's kind of just staring at his hands. His hands are shaking. He's not really aware of anything going on right now.
Is this different to any other morning, or is he? I mean, is he always like this in the morning?
No, he's acting weird.
Yeah, he is the human equivalent of broken right now. He's yeah.
Okay, the crawling claw goes over to a wash basin and is tapping at it.
I don't think tapping is gonna
No.
break through this.
It goes up to Pharisee and taps Pharisee, and then goes over to the wash basin and taps at it. And waits. Muted.
I'll pick up the wash basin.
Yeah, there's a lot of water in it.
Look at the claw.
It points at the professor.
I'll smile real big. Walk over to the professor.
Yep.
I'll set it down on the table. I'll fly up onto the table because I need to get some leverage on this.
Yep. The crawling claw goes over and moves the professor's spellbook away and moves some other things away, and
I'll go ahead and pick it up again in full view of the professor here.
Yep.
And slowly pour it out over the professor's head.
Okay, there's clean, cool water that is now splashing over the professor's head. It's splashing all over his face.
The professor's still staring down at his hands in this his sad, lonely little man voice. killed him, Pharisee? Did I kill him? And we'll look up. You were there.
Well,
Yes, you absolutely did.
in a sense.
Yes, in the sense that you killed him. A very direct sense.
In the dream, it was.
It was real.
Go ahead, Sound. Why don't you explain it to him?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know that Son was even like actually participating in the conversation. I think he was just like expanding on Pharisee's sentences. But I guess in response to that, he would probably like wake up a little bit from the concentration, and he'd be like, "That book actually pretty much said it all. Pretty sure that there was a ritual involved, required sacrifice. It may not have been a conscious decision, but it definitely happened."
The professor will sort of look at Son for a moment, or take it all in, and turn to Zephyros and ask his stalwart scholar companion,
What did I do? What did I buy for his blood?
I don't know, Professor. And I do not guess, nor would I know how to guess at this point. It is your dream. I'm not sure if it is your reality, if it is a projection. I don't know what that was.
Yes.
But we were all a little scared about it.
The professor will turn back to his hands and just mutter,
A nightmare. It was,
Is it what you did or what you're afraid you did?
I don't know.
How sure are you that this was your nightmare? You've done so much and experienced so much. Could you have acquired it from someone?
I remember the library. I remember him. Benjamin. What happened to him? He disappeared. It was me, wasn't it? What did we find?
We found darkness. I think that's all we found.
As children, though, we would play in my grandfather's study. We found things. His curios, his discoveries. Benjamin was always the better scholar, though. I was always in his shadow. But what did we find in the attic that day? Why did Benjamin never come back? It must have been me. Who else?
I don't know how to answer that, Professor.
Well, where is your grandfather's library? Maybe we should take a peek.
But at this point, Zephyros gets a little nervous about it because he remembers the green orb and he doesn't really want to open that door. So he doesn't say anything. He's just sort of stuttering on his words, trying to see if he can steer Pharisee's suggestion in a different direction. But I'm guessing that he won't be successful because ultimately the bigger goal is that he has to support the professor.
Son will very much be in favor of never going there because that place literally took a little boy away and probably don't want to sacrifice anymore. And I think that's what he's going to vocalize. I don't know if I'm necessarily role-playing the conversation, but that would be the position to take.
So Luke, just you dropped out there. So basically, while you were talking, Pharisee suggested that we could potentially go to the library if it is anywhere near and see if we can investigate it a little bit. And Zephyros is a little, stuttering on his words, trying and failing to convince Pharisee not to do it because Zephyros is embarrassed about that green orb he's trying to avoid.
Does the professor know what happened to that library? I mean, that was a long time ago. Where is that estate? Would it still be around?
Yeah, so your grandfather has passed.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Chalmers estate, after your grandfather died, would have, I think it passed on. Like, your family didn't get to keep the manor for whatever reason.
Yeah, if I had it at some point, I probably would have lost it when I went destitute in my pursuits. Or my wife took it when she left me.
So the manor is in the city.
It is so.
Do I know the family? This is knowledge nobility. Right?
It would be knowledge local to know what happened to your family's manor. The manor that where something happened in when you were young and you've been trying to forget. So you may have also been avoiding this place.
Yeah. Sure.
So any familiarity bonus is going to be compounded by the fact that you've been trying to forget and avoid this place. So just roll a knowledge local.
34.
Of course you do. Of course you do. You know that this place, ever since your grandfather died, has had too many owners to really keep track of.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about the property where people move in and it gets sold very quickly.
It's cursed. You mean it's haunted? No one wants to live there?
There might be some local theories that the manor is somehow cursed or haunted, and various factions and families have lived there for short periods of time. 34, you know that a prominent noble family current holds the deed. And let me just find a noble family for you. Give me 30 seconds.
I just like to point out that some cleric spells are fucking evil.
Yeah. I don't know the list too well.
Yeah, there's definitely some good stuff in cleric. It can be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Most of very useful to us.
Most of it is non-standard, so I'm trying to select things. There we go. I like this one. Oh no, wait, never mind.
Because you rolled a 20, you actually know the noble name.
Nice. What do we got here?
They are nobles that have, there's a family that does have, other property outside of Grand Station. They're called the Archmenos family.
How do you spell that?
I will put it in chat. They've probably had this property for the last couple of years, and with your nat 20 as well, you know that the Archmenos family may not be afraid of superstitious or haunted places.
Yeah.
Like, they might actually, in a way, seek those places out, or at least like adding that type of property to their holdings.
Nice.
You'd have to do more research about the Archminos is.
It's owned by the Archminos. They are acquirers of rather unusual properties. The house, you see, has a certain reputation these years. Not a lot of people want to live there very long.
We have a bit of a reputation as acquirers of interesting places as well with our first acquisition. Perhaps one day, maybe not today, we'll want to rival them in our eclectic realty.
Yes, but to see the room again. Remember that day, those years.
You don't want to do that.
Oh,
If you
remember?
do, sound can probably help you. Your memories seemed quite specific.
That's why you don't want to do that. Probably forgot them for a reason. You would not have forgotten it naturally. You meant to do it.
Yes. Meant to do it.
Absent-mindedly look down at my hands again.
Perhaps it was just a nightmare. Hmm.
I think the professor just is a bit out of sorts. I don't think he's gonna take the lead on what to do. He isn't sure. This is really brings up a lot of things. A lot of things he's been trying not to think about and not to confront, and it's very unsettling.
And in total support of the professor, Zephyros is sort of encouraging that view.
That it's just a nightmare.
That's just a nightmare. We should probably not go back to it.
Between the crawling claws of Phyros and Makarnam's proddings, basically the professor is pushed through the routine of studying from his spell book. Like, they've got the book open, like, you want to learn this spell for today, study your spells.
Yeah, I like the idea that that Balamut is helping that.
Yes.
Just sitting there, like looking through the book with him.
Because he's seen like that morning routine before.
Yeah.
And so he's like, hey, this must be right. Although, well, maybe not today, because I think Balamut would sense that Son is doing something very different today than he ever did.
Yeah, your prayers are taking longer. Because you have 2 casting levels of taking prayers, we've ruled that your Gestalt class takes half as much time. So
Right.
so basically you're doing 200% more praying this morning.
Right.
Normally you do
Well,
no,
Rangers
you're
meditate,
doing
but I don't think they meditate for a full hour.
yeah, they do. Yeah, daily prep is a full hour. So you're doing 50% more basically.
So an hour and a half.
Yep. But you've optimized your ranger prayers. That's only taking a half an hour, and now you're feeling the dream realm kind of creep through you and your holy symbol into the world itself, and you are convinced that dreams are indeed important.
Hell yeah.
Would Son have insight into whether, like, that Professor's nightmare, whether that was real? Because I do remember the book, at least, what he saw in the book, suggesting pretty clearly to him that that actually happened.
Give me a knowledge planes.
1 second. Okay, I'm gonna do it without any, like, priest bonuses, but he actually does have, there you go, 23.
Something that is not normal happened to the professor, and this thing may still have some sort of hold on him. Whatever he went through in the past, combine that fact by the professor is perhaps the smartest person in all of Grand Station, whether you like it or not. What is your int?
It's like +8 now.
I would say one of the smartest men currently in Grand Station, if not for the last,
+9, 28.
generation.
What
There's,
does that have to do with?
well, because the strength of your will in Dreamland.
Is wisdom based.
He has a powerful will that, with this trauma that he experienced, he's able to do things in his dreams by accident, or something has still got an effect on him. Your grandfather explicitly told you when you guys were in the dream realm that there's something wrong with the professor, that his dream should not be that powerful. His nightmare should not be that powerful.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't think someone would say it. I mean, I was just asking for like if someone could form an opinion about the discussion just happened.
Yep.
Do I know what part of town the old Sinclair or the old Chalmers estate is?
Let's go look at the map of Grand Station. Where should a really old, dilapidated manor be?
Yeah. Do I subconsciously try and walk by now? Get closer to it?
Let's say the old manor is...
I mean, if it's really, really old, it's probably going to be close to the center, because I'm guessing the city would have expanded out over time, right?
It may be on the fringes. I mean, it's an old estate. It would have been like maybe an estate at one point, and then the city grew and swallowed up the land.
Right.
I think that for whatever reason it was somewhat remote, not quite outside the city. There is one neighborhood in the slough that we have not defined. I need a good neighborhood name. It's south of Trashfall. It's near Harrowstone Lane. It's next to the neighborhood of the Devil's Pawn Shop. I need a good...
How well known would his family have been? Could it be a derivative of a family name, maybe?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
So maybe not Chalmers or something, but something related to it.
Chalmstown or
Chelmsford? Chelmsford?
I like it. Chelmsford is actually a little town outside of Sudbury, so...
yeah.
Perfect.
Chelmsford.
Should we maybe make it with a CHA instead of a CHE? Simply because it's related to his Chalmers.
Chelmsford, sure.
Yeah.
Where are we? We're on the map. Grand Station map, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's actually the little estate is on the edge of the mountains and the forest and the cliff side. I will draw a little dot.
It is near that devil's pawn shop we used to visit by the trash fall. It is tucked away. The manor, that is. What were we talking about? Oh.
We do have our friend, the guardsman, the lieutenant, living with his family down at Number 2 Cistern Way, which is near the Grey District and the kidnappings that we've been asked to investigate. Perhaps we should go and explore that part of the slough.
Yes.
Kind of the outer edges that we don't go to very often.
Yes. I would like to see it again, I think. If only for the knowledge that was stored there. My grandfather was a great scholar, you know. Chelmsford was named after our family. Scholars for years. Yes. What a nightmare.
I'll go quiet again. Stare at the hands. Maybe there's the third hand there, and now the hand is just in my lap. I'm just staring at the three hands.
Okay. Kind of loping into the room is Uncle Zong. Wow, I heard you guys had a really great night last night. Wish I could have been there, for the first time.
Son glances at him. shakes his head, kind
Well,
of absent-mindedly fishes for a joint somewhere, and to hand him.
well, look at you, and he seems to just pull one from his cap, and he sparks it up. Takes a long.
Then Thon accepts it.
Yeah, he takes a long drag and then hands it around. Well, look at you, all go-getter in the morning, and he points to the holy symbol. I knew you had it in you.
Son absent-mindedly looks at the holy symbol, tries to
Whoa,
remember the time when he had it shoved into him.
whoa.
Can't remember that time, puts it back.
The rest of you seem to have a good time except for that guy. What's his deal?
Yeah, he was the only one of us who didn't have the greatest of time. Again, Zephyrus is just deflecting entirely.
Oh. Yeah, I heard something. Heard something about there was a bad dreamer last night.
Just a night.
What did you hear?
Well, Vladimir was talking to some of us. As he does, I pick up things here and there. Not all of us can be priests of Iambulus and commanding dreams at our whim, but I do learn how to lurk on the edges, and you pick up a thing or two.
Son smiles without opening his eyes, says nothing. He's basically completely out of it until he completes his first prayer ever. This is not something that he can participate in.
I'm not saying that anything happened last night, but is there any way you can share some of your knowledge on how to stay on the edges a little bit more?
Well, yeah, he showed you all the lights, right? The big clusters of lights, the big nebula of lights. Closer you get to the big cluster, the more power the dreams have. It's like they're all overlapping. More power means more effect upon the waking world. Your dreams out here are okay. If you stay in the fringes, you'll be fine. There hasn't been an invasion in a long time.
What kind of invasion?
Oh, don't worry, creepies and crawlies, or everyone dreaming the same thing. Oh, that's really bad.
The professor's head snaps up and looks him in the eye and says,
The center. What is there?
Oh, the collective dream of thousands of all the people in the pearls is there. There are some beings whose minds don't like having people in them, dreams or no.
Yes, dreams.
his eyes will start to glaze again.
Iambulus is probably there, but you gotta worry about half a dozen to a dozen other ones.
Just a nightmare.
He'll say, starting to tune out from the conversation and go glazed-eyed again.
Plus, they're the ones that circle around in the darkness. The ones that feed on dreams. The ones that feed on fear. That one's gonna lure some of the fear eaters.
Just a nightmare.
Is he pointing at anyone? Or
Oh
is
yeah, he
talking-
was pointing at the professor. But, you gotta live. Sometimes when you live, you break things. And he points at his temple, and you break things.
What if those things are already broken? Can we heal them here?
Sure. Dream magics have, not only can cause great nightmares, they can undo great traumas. Yeah.
Is there anything you could recommend in that regard? We
Well,
may need to help this poor man.
yeah, Vladimir said that you can come back whenever you want. He'll give you more lotuses, and you can go into the dream realm and dream all together.
Right.
Your test will be waiting for you to see if you can actually handle a dream wraith.
Okay. Yeah, we discussed that with him. I'm thinking we'll likely do that sometime. Zephyrus looks at Son for guidance here.
Does Son see Zephyrus looking at him?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
the prayer, his eyes are closed.
Yeah, you're pretty much done at this point.
Okay. Yeah, Son gets up, stretches, relights the joint that went out, sees it first looking at him, sees the joint, offers the joint to the Sephiros.
Sephiroth gladly takes the joint this morning and takes a step back and tries to hide his I don't want to say displeasure, but stress levels while he's puffing away.
Yeah.
What does he inhale with?
Oh yeah.
Let's for the moment say that he's just doing it standard-wise. He's not even trying to be funny and using his
Right.
Right.
You're a bit disappointed when puffs of smoke, when he inhales with his mouth and puffs of smoke come out of his mouth, you're like watching the end of his trunk, waiting for like bubbles and shit to come out. But
That is disappointing.
well, you can always go in and try to find the source of the problem. Nightmares are reflections, things that your mind can't comprehend. Old wounds that aren't physical. Well, they could be physical, but they leave behind marks too. They could also be other things. And he points at Pharisee. Charms and hexes. Spells. Things that affect your mind, that linger. Things that you did while under the effects of those things. That your mind can't comprehend, that it's trying to work out. Could just be math problems.
What happens if we stay in the areas where we're supposed to be safe and we happen to die in the dream? Do we reincarnate somewhere? Do we...
You wake up. If you're in the safe zones of the dreamland, you'll just wake up. Notice how you never hit the ground when you're fallen in your dreams. You wake up. If you hit the ground, it wasn't that scary to begin with. It wasn't a scary ground.
Oh, I don't have scary grounds.
Exactly.
And then, can we re-enter?
That's the tricky part. Lotuses, you take too much, you start to poison yourself. We wouldn't give you new lotuses today, no. But yes, under extreme circumstances and with certain types of magic, powerful magic that breaches the fabrics of reality.
No. Yes.
He's describing. Give me a spellcraft check for those.
Yeah, give me a moment.
For those that are so inclined.
I am continuing my horrific roll, my horrific streak of rolls with a 3, which gives me a grand total of 22.
I got a nat 20. The professor can't help but hear information and his brain process it almost like against his will. He has to be listening and has to try and understand. So
Nice.
he may not really know what's going on, but on some level, I think he's listening.
I
While
like that explanation a lot.
Yeah.
while it's
And those are 2 very different rolls.
while
Nice, you're in on it.
while it sounds really like strange, both Pharisee and the professor are quickly leaping to the question, at least. Can you plane shift to the dream realm? And you're not sure of the answer, but when he's talking about layers of realities, well, that's kind of what plane shift does, is bring you from one plane to another, which are kind of like layers of realities. You don't know the answer to this. This is purely like what would be the tuning fork? You know, like how would you even have that thing? You know, like this is all starting to wander into theoretical as opposed to practical.
Yeah, I'm starting to get really curious though if you could come out in a different place too. That's an interesting thought.
Ooh,
That would be interesting.
yeah.
I mean, out of character, Neil is saying that.
The professor doesn't say anything. He mumbles.
I'll be right back.
Planes, yes. Travel.
Well, I'm sure you have all lots to think about. You keep care of yourselves now. And he points at the professor.
The professor, in his mind, has already forgotten he's there.
Mind's a horrible thing to waste, and a good dream is a bad thing to waste too. It's a byproduct of having a mind.
Just a dream. Just a dream.
Go out there, he pats Zephyros in the back. Feed your minds full of wondrous things, so you'll have fuel for all sorts of vibrant dreams. Come back when you're...
Right. Zephyros says, but he's secretly thinking, no.
Come back when you're ready. Or linger here and take a rest, and we could maybe snip some dream lotuses for tomorrow. Up to you.
I think the professor is absent-mindedly fiddling with something in his pocket. I don't mean that to sound the way it came out sounding like. But he carries an Ankwani symbol, this Jed pillar, in his pocket. It's a tiny little curio.
Yep.
He had found in the attic as a boy. It's from his past with Benjamin. He's, I think, fiddling with it in his pocket and maybe subconsciously almost makes a psychometry check on it. The last tangible connection he has to his brother and that whole experience. And I will roll that. Dude, I've rolled 3 nat 20s tonight, guys. Holy
I'm like, what the fudge?
fuck. Oh my god, I'm sorry, Twitch, but
Okay, so you have a vision of a young boy. At first you thought it was you or perhaps your brother, but it was actually your grandfather when he was young.
Nice.
Does your grandfather have a name?
I don't know if he ever did name him.
Okay, well that's your homework for later. But you're pretty sure that this is your grandfather. You've seen
I think when we were in that like antechamber for that guard lady, Cassandra, I think was her name.
Mm-hmm.
The murderous doctor that came out and spoke to Professor, I think he mentioned that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't remember what it was though.
Okay, check the tapes. It is your grandfather, and your grandfather was young, a little bit older than you were in that dreamscape. Like he was a early high school age kind of thing. He was dressed in little wizard robes. It looked like he was sitting at a table, and he had a bunch of charts out. And you see him kind of unwrapping this particular thing that he found, this Djed pillar. And you remember him saying, maybe the old god of traveling, the old god of portals, can help me find what's out there. And there's a single word and a hopeful feeling, like you don't feel anything like nefarious coming from your grandfather. There was like this childlike hope that he would discover what was out there by using this artifact of, and I'm going to spell it, of Ta.
This is wild, guys. This is really just blowing me away. This has been a very eventful game for me. I'm still trying to come to grasp with what this means for the professor, knowing that all of this now.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the thirst for knowledge and the thrill of epiphany and discovery, and he was making some connections on these charts, and he came across this. He had this artifact that there was a bit of maybe childish like this feeling of like he's doing something that maybe he shouldn't have. Like he maybe shouldn't have had that artifact, but it was clearly overshadowed by his desire to uncover truth. Like he may have borrowed it. You don't think it was anything like truly sinister?
Yeah.
but he definitely wanted to know what was out there, and you do remember seeing on the page a kind of weird circle with a bunch of other circles inside of it, and there was a question on the outside of the big circle. What's outside?
So Marty, in the channel, Wither King was saying that he thinks he might have some of the answers to the Dreamscape stuff, and instead of spoiling it and ruining it, I suggested that he keeps it in his back pocket, and maybe that's a good case for him getting a hero point or something.
Yeah, we could do hero DM points. I think what we've done over time is we've turned it into the stream gets 3 DM points, which they could spend as hero or villain points. The stream needs to work together to agree how they spend it. Like one person, like we have a Discord going, so yeah, we could have 3 DM points for tonight. This campaign's a little more story based as opposed to the Gonzo like thing that we're doing with rotating DMs. So I will be a little bit more strict with like totally random stuff. Yeah, I appreciate that you guys have been following along and have watched a lot of the episodes and like are probably picking up on hints. Or have wild theories on how it all fits together. For the professor and for the campaign world itself, I did say when we were setting up the campaign that part of the mystery of the game is the nature of the world itself, and the professor's background and what he's interpreting might just be scratching at that onion, whereas Son's stuff might be scratching at the onion in a different area, and Pharisee and Zephyrus' dreams were scratching at a different area. So, yes, there is method in this madness.
It's beautiful madness. Oh wow, this is a great memory throughout this. Do I recall like how this thing is used? Do I understand what this thing is finally?
You think it's a holy symbol.
Okay. Oh, do I know? And that's of Ta, a holy symbol of Ta.
Yeah, it might have been an object that was used in a priesthood of the old gods.
Mm-hmm. Can I like detect? I've detected magic on this thing. I'm sure it doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't do anything. It might be part of a greater part of ritual or maybe of significance. It is intricate.
Yes, I'll continue to absent-mindedly study it.
And very old.
Yes. Just a nightmare.
Okay, what are you guys doing? You linger for the morning, recovering from your dreams.
Yeah.
San has made connection with his god, received his spells. The professor eventually was coaxed through preparing his spells in the morning. Everyone is now prepared, and you linger for a while.
I think we definitely have to at least discuss the Cassandra Croft quest to see when we're going to do it.
Yep.
Whether or not we do it today, I don't know. But as a group, I'm sure Zephyrus and Pharisee and Son and the professor will at some point at least broach the subject and discuss what they want to do.
Might as well do it now.
I'd like to make it down into that area and help out the lieutenant's niece, I believe, who clearly had the blood bath.
Bukerbeck, after a nap that morning, he slept in. He might have spent part of the night guarding you guys because you guys were doing something dangerous. He may not have admitted it out loud, but he wakes from his nap and joins the conversation when you guys at around noon. I can provide my magic.
That would be fantastic, Bukerbeck. I think the lieutenant had a niece. I wouldn't mind having one of the more powerful agents of order sort of in our debt even more down in the slough.
She does not appear to be half bad. Bukerbeck is, it was right to make friends with her, with you to make friends with her. Although
Yes.
Bukerbeck wishes that this was done much, much earlier than before we actually did. But that is life.
It is indeed. But now that we have a quest from her as well, I think this place is going to be more dangerous for us if the forces behind the Blood Veil end up taking over. Winter is coming, as they say.
Son shudders.
It's not time, though. I think it's still autumn.
No, it's not that. I had a dream once. It was about a place where people said that a lot. It ended poorly in the 8th season. Haven't had that dream since.
Yes, 8 seasons is 2 full cycles.
It flew by in a flash.
I mean,
Yes,
that
I've prepared my spells. I am ready to help save a few souls from this horrible blood veil.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Shall we set up a base of operations then down in the slough near the place and sort of stalk the alleys at night on our own?
Yes, there is that place she told us where we need to go, where the bodies are not going. Or the bodies are... She said something about bodies. What was it? Do you guys remember what she said?
Let me take a look.
I think that was right. That bodies of plague victims are supposed to be stacked in a location or taken to a location,
Yep.
and they aren't being taken there,
Yeah,
or they are being taken from there.
she
There's that, but there's also reports of pale people
Improper.
stalking, I think, the alleys at night.
Yep, there was a place called Racker's Alley where there are reports where bodies might be dumped there, and
It's
then
improper disposal of bodies. Why are the bodies ending up here? There's marks on them, claws, shark teeth, perhaps vampire. Find anything you can on the plague, she asks as well.
Yeah.
and then you guys also had the tidbit of the plague seemed to have started in the slough as well as in the Temple District of all places. That's where the first cases were reported.
Yes, are we prepared to fight horrible beasts?
Yes, well, the Temple District and the Slough are both kind of next to the Grey District, which is sort of the home of some necromancers and undead. So I guess I'm not totally surprised that there's kind of a nexus there. I'll bet nobody went really into the Grey District to see if people were dying there, since it seems to be populated mostly by people that are already dead and buried.
It is where the body should be buried. It is where the crematorium is.
So here's what I propose. In the city, we basically have several things to do. We can go to investigate why bodies aren't ending up where they're ending up. We can go and investigate the, well, I guess the quest that Crescenda Croft gave us. So Grey Warrens, the sightings of undead near Grey Warrens, which are probably related. we could go and cure that lieutenant's daughter or niece, I guess. I've never met him, but you guys are saying he's a good guy. Or we could just leave the city and go to Villa Malabella. My proposal is to go and kill the undead. Or investigate the undead, find undead, and kill them.
I think the first three are all right in the same area.
Yes, I was about to say, maybe we can do multiple of them.
You
Maybe
cuss!
we can cure one person and learn something about the next.
Cast 1 stone and win 3 games.
What the fuck kind of games do you play where you throw stones?
Hey, it is a Bogart thing.
Huh. Son kind of estimates whether or not his body would just like willingly take a stone and not get hurt.
Big flabby frogman. Yeah, he looks pretty sturdy.
I see a lot of those at work. So what's the closest of the things that we discussed?
It sounds like it's a trip down into the slough. Depends on which way you guys go.
The Chelmsford Manor is the closest, but I don't think it's on the way.
The professor, I guess we'll say from his mumblings.
As the crow flies, the Chelmsford Manor is the closest. As going down the lifts, it would be the Grey District and Leatherton are the closest.
Is Grey Warrens and Grey District the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Warrens were in the Grey District, but anyways.
Close enough. Hey, Mockernom, where do you think we should go?
We should go help the lieutenant.
The leader has spoken. Let's go help the lieutenant.
Yes.
And
Lieutenant.
Mockernom climbs up onto Zephyros.
I'm glad you didn't get sick when I was sick.
Same here. I'm really happy that I didn't get sick.
Okay, there isn't much of a fanfare when you guys leave the halls of Somnolence. There are some of the children and people at Son know that wave goodbye.
I guess someone goes and says to say goodbye to his mom.
Yep.
Like, give her a hug.
Yeah, she wishes you can. Like, she congratulates you on becoming a priest, and she actually has something for you. It's not quite in a package. It's more like with a bow on it, and it is a gold holy symbol of Iambulus.
And what is mine made of?
Probably not gold at first level.
Right. Is there... This is, like, Son would not ask this, but
Yep.
is there any significance to the material?
She says, well, she's like, yeah, it's gold. It's shiny, but she says, watch this. And there's a secret compartment in the gold holy symbol, and it's actually enough space to put a potion.
Excellent. Son puts an appropriately shaped blunt into that space.
Okay. She smiles, gives you a hug, wishes you like go play with your friends is what she says.
Thanks, Mom.
Yep,
I'll be
yep.
back.
Yep. Half
And
giant.
these are both like 7-foot people, right? Oh no, she's human. No, they're both half giants. Never
Yeah,
mind.
that's right. She's actually a bit larger than you because she's a bit closer to the giant parentage than you are.
Yes.
So, she hugs you. She sends you on your way. Half giants are long lived too, so it's like, yeah, you're gone for a couple weeks, and it's not that big of a deal, sort of thing. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Say hi to Grandpa, or bye, or whatever.
She says your grandfather is very impressed with you. Don't let him down.
Son has like this brief flash of nightmare that's associated with letting down Grandpa Vladimir, and just nods and goes.
Yep. Mark down the holy symbol. We'll say it's a DC 28 perception check to notice the secret compartment.
like when inspecting it?
Yeah,
or...
if somebody else who doesn't know inspects it, it's a DC 28.
Right. Okay, it was silver.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's what we're gonna do. You know those like rap videos where people wear 2 crosses at once?
Yeah.
Someone's gonna do that with symbols of Iambulus.
Okay, just put in your next slot that you've got two holy symbols.
And also an amulet of Mighty Fists.
Yep.
Sounds like a fucking Christmas tree.
That's fine. It's actually pretty smart to have a second holy symbol for many reasons. The group gathers outside of the halls of somnolence, and are you guys walking, or are you taking some other mode of conveyance?
The professor will absentmindedly, when he steps outside, sort of just wave his hand, and the carriage appears. It's strange because usually the professor seems to like think the carriage is real, or is he just playing an elaborate game where he plays along with the charade? But there's none of that now. He just summons it and walks in and gets in like without breaking stride. Or, as soon as it appears, he steps in.
There's also no witty banter with the driver, who he pretends is real, and the party kind of shuffles in joylessly, I guess, with the professor into the carriage.
Son is perfectly joyful.
Yeah.
Not because of the professor, it's just that like that's not where his source of joy was ever coming from.
I think the carriage will be particularly twisted and dark. It seems more like some sort of mad sculpture than a carriage. It feels a lot more jagged and broken and not really very well built, too, almost.
Okay. As you guys approach the lifts and the gate that leads between the Noble's Perch and the Plateau District, you do see that there are half a dozen Grand Station guards, as well as these 2 Grey Maiden guards that are at the gates, and they're stopping traffic both ways.
Were they stopping traffic both ways last time we went through here?
You didn't really see them stopping it. You only saw them stopping traffic to go in. Right. If you guys slow down or stop, you can observe for a while. If you go forward, I guess you'll find out. Professor is the one that makes this decision because he's in charge of how the carriage moves.
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of just going with the flow of things. If he was on a street, he'll queue up to go through a gate. Or how far away were we? We were like a block away. What was going on?
Yeah, you're a couple of blocks away when you see that there are still like guards guarding the gates and the. I guess there would be small lifts or very wide ramp depending on what kind of cargo you're moving. They are guarding the access between this particular level of the city and the Plateau District. There is some traffic ahead of you that seems to be going into the plateau. We'll say that there is 2 people on a horse. They look like nobles that are trying to disguise themselves with cloaks.
I think the carriage will keep rolling slowly towards the gate.
Okay. A guard steps in front of you. It's not one of the Grey Maidens, but it steps in front of your cart, kind of putting up his hand, and one of his buddies also kind of bars the way with a what's a more advanced polearm? A
Bardage.
A forchard is like a really late polearm. It's still functional. Like with a forked forchard, and it kind of like holds it up in the way. You gonna stop, or are you gonna run these guards over?
It'll be probably slow to stop. It will probably take something to startle me into stopping it.
Son will willingly kind of nudge the professor, like, "Yo, stop the car."
No, yes.
Okay. It's a pretty sudden stop. You startle the 2 guys that were trying to slow you down, which gains the attention of the two Gray Maidens. They immediately take control of the situation. Point at the professor, or point at who is anyone sitting up front with the ghostly rider, or are all of you packed in the back?
I'm packed in the back.
Okay.
Zephyros is in the back.
Papers is what one of them says. They didn't like your stunt.
Someone pulls out his papers and hands it to them.
Okay. Are you on top, in the back, or on the bench?
Well, since I pushed the professor, I had to be inside.
Okay, so San thrusts her. She looks inside. There's certainly a lot of you in there, and she pulls your papers and looks at it. You notice one guard counting on his fingers as he's pointing to each horse, each wheel on your wagon, and then another guy pops in and is also counting the number of people in the wagon. For how many horses does this carriage summon?
Oh, I think 2.
Okay, 6, and then let me just do a quick count of the party members that register as people. 7, 8, 9, 10. They don't count the Crawling Claw. They don't count Pixel. They don't count Markernom. Did you leave the Frilled Surprise at home?
2, yeah.
No, I would have taken him.
Okay.
And also Balamut. Balamut is riding on top.
Okay. Balamut kind of sticks his head up. The guards all go, "Whoa!" The two female guards seem to be a little bit more controlled with their emotions, and they just step back. Their hands do go to their blades. That beast needs a muzzle. Where are his papers? They pass you your papers back.
Last time I was here, you told me to get papers for him. There's nobody where we just came from that could give them to me. We're literally going to get papers for him in the city.
Okay, give me a diplomacy check. You could add 4 because you have the right papers to be in this neighborhood.
Hold up. There is a diplomacy thing that I wanted to use. Never mind. Fuck it. Okay. Is diplomacy trained only?
Nope.
Okay, it is a class skill for me as charisma based, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, and +4, so 17.
Why do you get a +3?
It's a class skill.
Did you spend a
Oh,
rank? in it?
but there's no ranks.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, so then it's a 14 total.
14. Don't bring this beast back to this neighborhood without a proper muzzle and without papers.
Okay. Sure. Where do I get the papers?
The tax is $3 is what they say. They're charging a gate tax. They somehow calculated the number of wheels, the number of horses, and the number of people, and it came out to $3.
Does that seem? Like
You've never paid. You don't remember. This must be new.
right? I guess someone is someone like at the window, or is
you're at the window. They did look in, they saw all these people, but you thrust your papers out. They don't seem to be caring too much about people leaving the neighborhood. That you do see some people getting a hard time and actually being turned away for not having the proper papers to enter the neighborhood.
Well, someone hands him $3.
Okay. Bring that bear back here again without the papers. This is the other female guard. And we'll have a new bear rug. And they kind of laugh. Some of the soldiers really chuckle like they're trying to impress the Grey Maidens by laughing at their jokes?
I glance at like the exact shape of their boots, the way they walk. Like I want to be able to track these people if I have to.
They are wearing armor that is almost like a uniform, like it's all been crafted the same. So it's kind of like a very...
The maidens and the guards?
No, the maidens are all wearing armor.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was probably from the same craftsman or group of craftsmen. They are shaped the same, and you get the sense that they're kind of like metal riding boots would be the way that you would describe the boots that the Grey Maidens are wearing.
Right.
The professor will look out the window to where this conversation's happening, not really look at them, but will cast Silent Image from, I guess, a wand, and the like image of Benjamin, the small boy from the dream, will just appear out there in the street, staring back at the professor in the carriage, just like making eye contact. I assume guards will notice it at some point.
Yeah, pretty soon they're letting you through, so they roll by and line of effect to your little illusion kind of goes away. If the guards saw briefly a little boy, you're not...
I mean, it would appear right next to the guards, staring at the carriage window at me. Like, it's right next to these guards.
You've got a couple of guards swatting at the boy, like, get out of here! Get out of here, kid!
He'll turn and run through the gate into the city.
Okay. Is he running towards the rich district from whence you came, or is he running into the plateau?
He's running into the plateau from the rich district.
Okay, the guards don't care.
Yeah. The professor will mumble, just a nightmare again, and look back down.
I guess after this all settles, Son like tries to wake up the professor. He's like, "Can you create an illusion of a muzzle on a bear?"
Yes, muzzle.
He'll use another cast from the wand and create a really dark, evil, very metallic, very jagged-looking muzzle. It looks like it probably shackles like beasts from hell. It feels wrong, though. It's just way too big. It's very oddly shaped. And the professor absent-mindedly looks back at his hands again.
All right, the scarage rolls through the plateau district.
Does the bear react to the muzzle?
To the illusion? I guess if something's like right here, it might not even see the illusion that is around its face.
All right, never mind.
And it rolls a nat 1 on its... so you do see it scratch its face a little bit more, and it's rubbing its face on the side of the carriage, but...
I try to calm the bear, like, hey, it's not real, don't worry about it. And as I'm doing this, I'm like basically half the body is out of the carriage.
Yep.
And like suspended on the edge. And
yeah, it obviously doesn't think that the illusion is keeping it from licking you, because it licks you. The scarage rolls through Grand Station, but it might be seeing that something's there, and it does throughout your travels end up just sort of rubbing its face along the top of the carriage. You ride by the Citadel, and you can see that there seems to be another unfortunate soul whose head is now atop a new spike, adorning the Citadel's walls. You could see some like the guards that you would use as support, not the guards you'd use on front lines, like too old, too fat, too small. You could see a trio of them, one too old, one too fat, one too small, like mopping up the execution area, and you could see some garbage. Like while you guys were off at the Halls of Somnolence, some unfortunate folk have met their end. You get to the lifts. The tax to go down into the slough is much less than the tax to come down into the Halls of Somnolence. They simply charge you a Zoller, and they go along with a warning. The plague's really bad down there. Don't be surprised you won't be able to come back up.
That's encouraging.
I'm taking Zollers out of our Zollers from Uruguay pile,
Okay.
just for tracking purposes.
Cool. They do load your wagon into, and your wagon, your horses, and the party is all able to take a single large lift down. There's a lot of clanking. You arrive in the Slewborough Market Square, where you guys see the burnt out remains of the tavern where you fought the spider. There's a long bread line across the big across the big market square, and you can see people standing somewhat apart from each other while they're waiting for their bread. Guys with billy clubs that have the baker symbol on them seem to be patrolling the line.
How many of them are there? 13?
No, there are half a dozen.
Too bad.
Yeah. There are
Nice try.
baker's
Nice try.
dozen? Yeah. Might be 13 in total, but they gotta
There you go. That's all I needed.
they gotta take shifts. You ride through the Slewborough Market Square, and what district are you heading towards?
I think we should go through Leatherton to Cistern Way, and at least sort of establish that we have a place that we could go to and stay if we need to,
What's in Leatherton?
and then strike out from there.
What's in Leatherton?
Leatherton, well, number 2 Cistern Way is there at the edge, but Leatherton is tanners, body brokers, those sorts of things.
Well, I mean,
Rendering and grease.
I'm from Great Station. I know those details, but why are we going there specifically? What's at 2 Cistern Way?
The lieutenant is staying there with his family,
Oh.
as I recall, and it's right on the edge of the hills and swamp at the edge of Leatherton. From there, we can go kind of north, relatively quickly along the hills to the Grey District.
As we're rolling through the Slewborough Market Square area, will we roll by? We're close to the Pearl Cantina. We could roll by there, right? I think
Pro Cantina is on the Harrowstone Lane. It's the opposite direction from number 2 Cistern Way. It's relatively close. You are correct.
Never mind.
Okay.
The carriage will just sort of go where the conversation seems to be leading. If there were like different turns and people keep bringing up different areas, the driver turn left and then turn right as people suggest things.
All right.
Will make no like.
Does Son realize this? That like the carriage is responding to people's voices?
It responds to the professor. Give me a sense motive.
Yeah.
Okay. $13.
Yeah, it's subtle. This omnidirectional thing, however, like where you're just sort of changing directions, actually takes you into some side streets and not main thoroughfares. And you're forced to slow down a little bit when you see that there is a line of people that look like they are waiting furtively. The line is somewhat blocking the street. And it's in front of a shop with a beautiful, kind of out-of-place glass window. Give me one moment. There is a man that is in the street while people are waiting who's talking very loudly. Let's see. It's this guy that I've named, or this guy right here. The shop that everyone seems to be waiting outside of is along this wall of the street. The line is going into the street itself, and there are some weird stairs that lead into like adjoining buildings that are all kind of connected together. You're sort of forced to slow down, else run over these people. Some of them might be sick. It's hard to tell from this distance. And you can hear the man in line. He goes, "Yep, that's right. I took the solution, and I was cured. Make sure that you go in and you're super polite. To Lavender. Yep. Lavender's a genius, and the people up high don't know it yet. Yous are all lucky. Lucky. I'm coming back for seconds." What do you mean, seconds? "Well, I got sick relatives, you know. They just wants the cure as well. Are you saying that you don't want the cure?" No, I'll keep my place in line. The name of the shop, it looks like it's got purple curtains hanging in the windows, and it is called Lavender's. You can see Son is probably the one that was poking his head out the window a lot. Son, you can see that there are two armed men flanking a small doorway. And there's a guy on the roof of a nearby building that is patrolling slightly, and he's got a bow in his hands. Like there are armed people here.
I think there are too many of them for you to cure, Bukerbeck, but if you want to make a scene, we'll support you.
I would like to know if they've got a cure.
They don't. I can tell you that.
Oh!
Seems unlikely.
Oh! The carriage slows down. Professor, are you waiting for the last second to slow the carriage down?
If Son's still looking out the window and he sees it, he's like, "Get the fuck out the way!"
Yeah.
You know, when there's like maybe 50 feet left or whatever.
Ah! There are some children in the road. The man's like, hold up! Sick people here!"
Well, get them the fuck out the way.
I guess as the screaming would go louder, at some point it would reach a crescendo. I think almost as if these things are upon him.
He falls back, and it does look like it's not the screaming children or the woman that's trying to gather her children out of the way. A couple of the menfolk are actually pretty swift, and they get out of the way. It's just the woman with her two children. Didn't look like they were quick enough if you didn't stop. This man fell back, and it was not the screaming children that made the guards react, but it was the man falling that did. And they're now coming over, and they have their hands on blades, the pommels of blades. They haven't drawn them yet, but that did cause them to wander over.
I'll stop when the man falls over. The loud commotion will sort of jog the professor from his reverie. He'll look up at the shop. Is the shop by any chance Lavender Honeybottom's shop?
Nope. This appears to be a different Lavender.
Okay.
The place is full of all the window is full of what look like little perfume bottles everywhere, and there's a mannequin and a fancy hat. And it just simply says Lavender on the side of it. Hey now, what the hell happened with these horses? The guy with the bow has walked over to the corner of this building, which is about 15 feet off the ground, and he's simply notched an arrow. He hasn't pulled it back, but he's notched an arrow. He's notching for Son, you're an archer, so he's notching for accuracy, not for speed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look up at Son and say,
What's happened? Why have we stopped?
There's some dude in the way. Son looks back out and just kind of watches, really just waiting for the dude to get out of the way.
Yep. This woman's like, huh! And she pulls her children back. I'm not gonna give up my spot in line. And you notice that one of the children is coughing and wheezing really badly, and there might be blood in a handkerchief. This one resident of the slough hops back from that.
Son does a I guess it would be a perception. But really, he's just looking, like, at first glance, is there anyone that's actually sick?
Coughing up blood is one of the symptoms.
But even lower, like, red eyes, anything like that.
You're inside of a carriage. It's hard to give diagnoses from there.
Okay.
This man's taking his time. He makes a show of it. He's like dusting off his cap as he's getting up.
Let him.
Bucrebex. Perhaps I should stay in line to see if this is indeed a cure.
Bucrebeck, you'll get cut up. Not to mention probably robbed. And no, it's not a cure. There's zero chance there is one here.
Unless they have a priest inside. But who knows? There are some herbal things that help a bit. This antitoxins and things like that. But yes.
Well, I say, who is driving this carriage of weirdness?
Magic. Why?
Who said that?
Son looks out the window. And is this dude human?
The dude that's talking, you don't know. He's on the other side of the wagon. You look at the window and you can see this little rat folk woman. She's kind of tugging at her own like the frills of her own clothing, and she looks up at you like uncertain as to what she's looking at. The guy's yelling on the other side of the carriage, so he's actually.
Are you deaf?
And he's yelling at the unseen servant, like the ghostly servant.
Why are you driving like that through these streets? There's sick people here. Unless you're sick, perhaps you should get in line for Lavender's. Her cures are the best.
The professor's spaced out for a little while now, and we've been stopped for too long. He's absent-mindedly fiddling the silent illusion wand, and he absent-mindedly casts another silent illusion of Benjamin in the street. But this time, the face keeps flashing, sort of when horror movies do that, like, static, and the face goes back and forth between, like, a little boy, like, pleading why to just screams of pain but silent, and it's very disturbing. And the professor never breaks eye contact.
Can you point where on the map you're creating this?
Probably where the yelling is. This guy's yelling over here. This is
right by the window where Zephyros is.
Yep.
Yeah, this is sort of drawing his attention generally in this direction. So there's like a window outside of the carriage, I think.
I don't know what all this ghostly stuff is. I'm not.
He's rapping on the window.
Lavender! I ain't getting paid enough for this.
Yeah, I was going to try and out him on my own if he didn't on his own.
Yeah, and then a bear kind of pokes its head over the top of the carriage with the hellish muzzle illusion. And there's lots of screaming. At this point in time, Sot is running. People are scattering. The guards have backed away from the bear, and this archer looks like he might be on the verge of firing. But you've got a bunch of screaming people that are trying to get away.
I think Psalm slowly start rolling forward.
Can Psalm prepare action to this dude's firing, like to try, like if he notches a bow, Song, let's say shoots at him. Can that be done from inside the carriage?
Not from that side. You'd have to either be on one of the benches or on one of the sides where the shooting is happening. You could climb out onto the roof. That might be the best way to get a shot off.
I guess I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll climb out and kind of use Balamut as a climbing ladder.
Okay. You notice that this woman rat thing that was kind of watching the scene from the alleyway is kind of like laughing. She's like laughing at the chaos sort of thing. Yeah, you climb up and you have a bow, and the guy sees that you have a bow, and you're making customers run away. I think it's initiative.
Yeah, we're starting to move too.
Yep. I think.
Drive-by shooting.
There's a bunch of people running. The sick child couldn't run, so it fell over, and the mother stopped, and a bunch of people are trying to like duck into storefront windows or into doorsteps.
Marty,
Yep.
Quick rule check. Things like remove disease, remove curse, delay disease, all that stuff. Is that considered cure, or is cure literally just cure X wounds?
It's just the wounding spells.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. If you're talking about spontaneous healing, is the name of the class power.
Right.
Okay. I need an initiative between you and the guard, because it looks like you're the only two that are gonna trade arrows as you go by.
Fair enough.
The illusion will change as we go by as well.
The guard gets a 23. What's your initiative check, Son?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. The page changed a little bit. I can't. Oh, there we go. 6.
Okay, perhaps because he was a little bit more ready, and you were still like climbing this carriage, which then started moving. He is from a stationary position. He's got +1 from above, and he fires a couple of times. Son, you're half giant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, his favorite enemy applies.
Is he a dwarf?
No. He hits AC 19 and AC 32.
Oh, 32 definitely hits. 19 doesn't.
Okay. He tags you with an arrow for 13 damage. This is as you're riding by.
Yeah. Son responds.
Son responds with bow. Okay.